Hey guys, Metal Breakdown here. So welcome back to another episode of ranking from worst to best. This time around, we will rank all Killswitch Engaged album from the very first one to the new one that came out this month. It's called Atonement. I'm surprised I have not done an episode for them before because they're truly one of my favorite metalcore band and favorite metal band overall. Not my favorite one, but one of my favorite. Maybe in my top 20 or something like that. Maybe even top 10, depending on how I feel. But I would say more top 20. They're great. I discovered them quite recently. I discovered them only in 2016. I think slightly before the release of Incarnate. But I've seen them live so many times since then. I saw them last month in July for the 6th time already since 2016. So yeah, it's crazy. I truly love them. And yeah, I think I talk enough. So in this video, I'll just rank the albums from the worst one to the best one, and I'll explain you why I'm putting them in that position. So let's do this, guys. So, the last album on my list, the one in the 8th position, is the second self-titled album released by Killswitch, the one that was released in 2009, and the last album with Howard Jones on the vocals. It's not that this album sucks. It still has some good moments. I really like Reckoning, Starting Over, even Save Me has some good moment. Take Me Away is good as well. And Howard was doing a great job on the vocal, just like he did on the first two albums he did with the band. I'll talk about them later. The problem, in my opinion, is more the production on this one, again, by Adam D. and Brendan O'Brien. It just sounds weird, in my opinion, and like I said, it's not that the album sucks. Far from that. Just when I compared it to some of the other album by Killswitch Engage, it's not an album that I will go back and listen to it like a lot of times, you know. It's good and I enjoy it for what it is, but not an album I will revisit like each month. Really from time to time when I feel like it, but it's not a must in the Killswitch Engage discography. After that, in the 7th position, I went with the very first album by the band, the one that was released in 2000, and the first self-titled album. So yeah, Killswitch, don't ever do any self-titled album again because these two are your worst. I'm just kidding, but it's kind of true at the same time. It's a short album, barely 30 minutes, and it contains songs that we will have again on the second album by the band, Alive or Just Breathing. I'll talk about this one later. And yeah, it's a good album, but everything was still like almost on the demo stage. It's so fucking raw. I could say the same thing for Alive or Just Breathing, but it's not as raw as what we have on the first self-titled album. They were just getting started. Not everything was perfect back then. I still like this album more than the second self-titled album that I just talked about. So it's far from being bad. This one is actually good. And when I'm angry, it's like the best fucking album to listen to because it's so fucking aggressive. But you'll see that they did such a better job with the Alive or Just Breathing album. I'll talk about this one later, like I said. Can't wait to talk about it. Anyway, in the 6th position, guys, I went with a more recent album this time around, and I'm talking about Incarnate. Again, this one is pretty low on the list, but it's pretty fucking good. It's the album that kind of made me discover Killswitch, so I have to love it for what it is, but I'm so sad that the song Triumph to Tragedy is only a bonus track because it's so fucking heavy, like the stuff from the first two albums, and I like it so much. Loyalty, the song they made for the Game of Thrones mixtape, is also pretty fucking good, and it's a bonus track, so that sucks, but the song I love the most on this album are probably Strain of the Mind, Embrace the Journey, It Falls on Me, The Great Deceit, all fucking great songs, I must say. But one thing I would change about the album is probably the lack of heaviness. It has its heavy moment for sure, but compared to all the other albums with Jesse Leach on vocal, it's not on the same level of heaviness. If you compared it with Disarm the Descent, Alive or Just Breathing, or even with the new one, Atonement, it's not as heavy, and I would love it to be slightly heavier. After that, in the list, I think it's in the 5th position. Yeah, in the 5th position, I went with the brand new album by Killswitch Engage. It took me a while to really like this one. On the first couple of listens, I was like, I'm not really impressed with it. Especially with the singles, Unleashed and I Am Broken Too. They are great songs, but not what I would expect for a first and second single. I would expect a bit more, but at least the rest of the album is so good that it kind of compensates for it. The Signal Fire with Howard Jones, wow, it's really the song we were hoping for, the song we were expecting. Wow, great job. Us Against the World, the chorus is simply so fucking beautiful. I can't get enough of this one. The Crownless King with Chuck Billy, it's such a great featuring. Really, like taking that thrash metal approach. I really love this one. Might be my favorite song on the new album. Other than that, I really love I Can't Be the Only One. It's such a great song. It will be interesting to see where this album will chart on the Billboard 200, because if I remember correctly, I think Incarnate charted in the 6th position. Yeah, 6th position. So I don't think it will do as good, but we never know. So it will be interesting to follow that. But yeah, overall, great album. I think the critics also gave the album some pretty good grades. So congrats, Killswitch Engage, for an incredible album. But I have to put it in the 5th position because all the albums that will follow are even better. And the album I'm putting in the 4th position is As Daylight Dies, the 2nd album with Howard Jones. Such a fantastic album. I could listen to it all day, and that's really the top tier in my opinion. The 4th best album, this one and the 3 others I'll talk about later. These ones are fucking insane. Like, I would probably give them at least a 8.5 or 9 out of 10 to all the remaining one, and more to the first one, obviously. But yeah, As Daylight Dies, what an incredible album. I really love the song This Fire. Again, it's only a bonus track, unfortunately. Other than that, I love This Is Absolution so much. It's a song they still play really often live. Same for My Curse, The Arms of Sorrow. I swear, guys, this album is a killer. Everyone in the band did such a great job, but they did an even better job with the album that came out right before, and this is where I will talk about my 3rd favorite album by Killswitch Engage, and I'm talking about the End of Heartache. First album with Howard Jones, so they had a lot to prove with this one. So much to prove. And at least the album is featuring Jesse Leach on Take This Out and Phil from All That Remain on Opus. So it's a fucking great album with some crazy featuring. I love it so much. This album is close to be perfect, to be honest. Wow. Rose of Sharon, The End of Heartache, A Bid Farewell, In Hell, When Darkness Fall. I could name every fucking song on the album, and it would still be a fucking great song. So I think after I'm done with this video, I will re-listen to it right away, because wow, this album is crazy, guys. And in the 2nd position, I went with Disarm the Descent, the first album that Killswitch Engage made after the return of Jesse in the band. And yeah, there might be some kind of bias here, because I think some people will disagree and put The End of Heartache before Disarm the Descent, but I'm a bigger Jesse Leach fan than a Howard Jones fan, so that might be why I'm putting this one first. But god damn, as soon as you put the album on, you're in for a fucking journey. Just start with the Hell in Me. It's starting with the fucking brutal screams. You know Jesse is fucking back. And right after Beyond the Flame, The New Awakening, and then In Due Time. In Due Time is probably like their biggest song now, so you have to say that it's pretty fucking good. And throughout the entire album, it's so fucking heavy. It's the type of heaviness I want with fucking Killswitch Engage. There's a ballad on it. It's called Always. It's really popular as well. The 2 times I saw them live this year, they played it. It's such a great ballad, and most of the time I'm like, oh no, not a ballad. I can't take this, but this one, it's so fucking beautiful, and I could sing it like all day, all night, like all year long, and it would still be as good. And now, if you're bright, you guessed it, you know which album is in my top spot. And yeah, it's Alive We're Just Breathing, an album that was released in 2002. So 17 years ago already. Back in 2002, I was like, what, 6 years old only? So yeah, I discovered this album later in 2016 and really listened to it the most in 2017. Back in a darker place in my life, I was just not really happy at the time, and just blasting this album like really helped me a lot. I also saw them live right after that in Las Vegas in April 2017, so I really associate me listening to this album with my trip to Vegas, so some really good memories, to be honest. And the reason why I love it so much, and a lot of my friends that I suggested the album to were not really in love with it. They were not able to appreciate it because of how raw it is. And usually I'm not a fan of the album that are too raw. But this time right here, I would not imagine the album any other way. It's just like perfect the way it is right now. Super aggressive from start to finish. And one of their biggest songs is in it, My Last Serenade. And even this one, it's a bit like softer than the rest of the song on the album because of the chorus, I would say. But even then, it's like one of the heaviest songs in the discography. But yeah, I love it so much, especially the beginning of the album with Numbered Days. I could listen to this song all fucking day long. And there's some song from the first album that they kind of redid. Oh my god. I'm still not sure about that, so I don't want to make a bold statement right now, but I think that this could be my favorite metalcore album ever. Could be interesting for me to do that kind of video soon, like an album, not an album, but a video in which I do a top 10 of my favorite metalcore album of all time. If you want me to do that, make sure to tell me in the comment section. I think we're pretty much done with this video, guys, so make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed what I just did in this video. You can also tell me in which order you would rank all the Killswitch Engage album. It would be fun. We could have some cool discussion in the comment section if you want to participate. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you want more content. I will always be bringing the metal to you. You can also tell me which band I should rank all their album from worst to best as well if you want. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Your support means the world to me, and I'll see you all next time.